Hi, I'm Will from the tennisbros.com, and today I'm trying the Wilson Pro Staff 97 at 340 grams. The Pro Staff is pretty hard to sum up because it's such a unique racket. Lawrence kept telling me I played terribly with it, but there's something about the feel of it, and my ground strokes look pretty decent to me. On impact, the Pro Staff feels like the ball really pops off the strings, but somehow you also get a good feeling of control and feel. It's not exactly what I expected from the Pro Staff because it's seen like as a super control racket, so you'd expect to feel the balls on the string for a very long time, but it does have that extra pop as well, which was quite a nice surprise, but it did take a little bit of time to get used to. But it does give you great power. That's probably due to the heavy swing weight and obviously the weight of the racket. It's very stable on contact, and you do feel like you've got a lot of power at your disposal. I think you can see the quality of this racket in my ground strokes. The ball really comes with a lot of power and pace on it, and it pushes the opponent back. It's what I like to think of as a very heavy ball, and that's ideal to get your opponent moving back off the court and out into the angles. This does come with a downside though, and that really is the 340 gram weight is pretty huge. Modern day rackets seem to be going the way of being a little bit lighter whilst keeping a heavy swing weight, but the Pro Staff is like lugging around a very, very heavy piece of lead, and at times that can get tiring, and it does show in some players who get injuries. If you do play with this racket, you've got to be very confident that you can handle the weight. It might be fine if you're just warming up on a demo of the racket, but when you've played 3 sets with this racket, it can be an issue, and you've got to be confident that you're strong enough and you're not going to pick up injuries with it. It's also not an easy racket to play with. You've got to be very, very confident in your strokes as well. If you go at a ball with half a swing, then you're not going to get anything from this racket. You've really got to have good technique, hit through the ball, and minimize your errors. The sweet spot's not massive because it's a tiny head, so you've got to be middling pretty much every ball with this racket, and it's definitely not for the beginner. It's a pretty advanced racket, this one. Everything about this racket is absolutely perfect for playing at the net. The stability is incredible, you've got good racket head weight, and the balance is brilliant as well, so if you get your strings on it, it's going to perform for you. It's not the most maneuverable, but it'll do the job at the net, and I really enjoyed this part of the playtest. I think the Pro Staff has to be the best racket I've tried at the net. The Head Prestige is another one that I think's an excellent volleyer, but I'd probably just give it to the Pro Staff. That stability is unbeatable, and hitting volleys off my feet anywhere just felt brilliant. I was having a pretty horrible day on serve when I tried this racket, but that wasn't really anything to do with the Pro Staff. It's a little bit different from the lighter rackets that I use, but eventually I did get used to it, and I made quite a lot of first serves in the points. I do miss a little bit of maneuverability on the serve, but with the swing weight, once you get the action going, it really has great plow through, so you're going to get good power on the ball, and it's got a lot of ability to create spin as well. It's just whether you can get the racket head speed, which can be a little bit more difficult. Overall, I'd say that the Pro Staff is an absolutely brilliant racket. The thing is, it's just not made for everyone. In fact, there's probably few players that will actually benefit from using this racket, and they're going to be extremely advanced players. For me, it's not the right racket. It is too heavy. I need something a little bit lighter. I like the swing weight and the stiffness of the racket, but it is a little bit heavy, and it's something that a lot of people have got to bear in mind when they're looking at this racket.